Greetings, fellow prospectors. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to a new series of Icarus called Volcanic Prometheus. If you would like to skip the details, goals, rules, and story of this series, please use YouTube chapters. Icarus is an open-world survival game where you are a pioneering prospector on a world that failed to fully terraform. Exotic resources are strewn across the planet, and you're tasked with surviving down on the surface to send and sell resources back up into orbit. The planet harbors incredibly violent weather and is swarming with apex predators and massive monsters. And then for this specific marathon, I will be doing a challenge run. So in this challenge run, I'll be playing on single player on hard difficulty of an open world of Prometheus with arachnophobia turned on. And I will have the New Frontiers DLC enabled, which allows for Prometheus, as well as the Great Hunts DLC. I also wiped my account before this marathon, meaning that I have no currency, no data, no nothing. So I really am starting from zero. And for added challenges, I am starting in the Volcano biome. So let's get that moving. As you can see, because I wiped my account, I really have nothing. Let's create a new character. And give me a little face. Let's do some scruff. Darker eyes. Yeah, and an Icarus logo. That works. With maybe like one earphone. Perfect. Okay, so we're creating a new world. And of course, there's like missions, open worlds, and outposts. I'm not going to be covering that exactly. I'm just going to be doing the open world. So a new open world of Prometheus. Now, normally it is recommended that, Prometheus is not for new players because it is a more challenging area. And then also that you shouldn't be under level 20 for Prometheus because, well, it's difficult. And I'm not going to be boosting. I'm going to be starting at 0 despite the warnings. And then we're going to create an open world on hard mode, as you can see here. I will turn on arachnophobia mode on because they keep like updating the spiders, but I still find them a little buggy where they'll like spawn on top of you and like not despawn and clip through terrain. So it ain't perfect. I'm going to name my prospect Volcano Prom. And then, yeah, this is my loadout. Now, for Prometheus, there is Arctic, there is like swamps, there's the grasslands, but I'm going to be starting in the basalt expanse, which is essentially Volcano. And the added challenge for this run is I cannot resource exploit anywhere outside of the volcano, which means the only things I can do outside of Volcano is like mine for exotics, mine for enzymes, or pick up quest items. So the full details of the rules are as follows. Well, maybe I won't talk over the pod drop. So the full rules is I may not exploit resources outside of the volcano except for exotics, enzymes, or quest items. Animals outside of the volcano may be killed, but not harvested for resources or tamed. Bow talents may also not be unlocked, so I'm not going to be using a bow as a primary. No mission buildings may be broken down for resources or deployables destroyed for resources, and only temporary structures may be placed outside of biomes outside of the volcano, like drills or ramps. So basically, I live in the volcano. I don't live elsewhere to cheese it. On top of all of that, foliage and stones do not respawn. That's in the server settings. So in the settings here, as you can see in gameplay, foliage or fiber and stones do not respawn because fiber is in severe short supply in the volcano biome. So to make it even worse for me, it does not respawn either. And the goals of this run is as follows. So I guess, actually, before the goals, it makes sense to throw up the story that I have put together. So Group 15 of the Lagos unit offered to front some of the startup funds for our prospecting to join the first cohort. But there was a catch, and it was a big one. We'd be dropping into the basalt expansion fields of a volcano. The UDA tasked the Lagos unit to test whether it would even be possible to make landfall in dangerous zones in order to potentially ramp up the exploitation of resources in the less than nicely terraformed areas of Icarus. And they assigned that task to Group 15, who tricked us into becoming guinea pigs for that experiment. There are many rules and restrictions for the experiment, and if any of these rules are breached or violated, will be intentionally marooned on the surface of Icarus for insubordination. So welcome to hell. So the goals of this run is as follows. It is both to prove the Lagos group and the UDA that a hardy enough prospector can easily survive on volcanic soil alone, and we also aim to exceed expectations to accomplish operations that even Group 15 couldn't handle. We'll need to build an entirely self-sufficient base deep within the basalt expansion zone, and to take on simple quests, operations, and campaigns beyond just mere survival. So yeah, that is the ultimate goal. Right at the start here, I have a priority. Get clean water. And I'll explain. There is not clean water in the basalt expansion zone. All of the water in the basalt expansion zone is sulfuric. And if you drink sulfuric water, you have a very high chance to get poisoned and dead. So upon landing, we have no water we can drink that doesn't kill us. So it's a race to not die. A big race. And let's get that race moving. So what I'm hoping to do is to be able to get tools up and running as fast as possible. There's of course the chance that I get caught up in a storm or chased down by some super predator. But I really like that K2 the K2 lake over there. So I think I'm going to work my way to the K2 lake. If I can. Big if. Because at least until I'm a little bit stronger, everything here in the basalt expansion just kills me.
Welcome to Prometheus, Prospector. This place has only been accessible to approved scientists and faction contractors, till now. But it looks like the UDA are finally opening it up for the rest of us. And they've actually made our lives easier, especially yours. You see, you'll be able to get back to the station whenever you'd like, or move gear and resources from orbit to planet, and vice versa. What a time to be alive. First things first, if you want to complete missions for the UDA, you'll need to craft a short-range radio. Plenty of folks need help. And factions pay well for prospectors that offer their time. Up to you. Stay safe.
Alright, there's a boar there. They're not super hostile. Like, they'll fight me, but only if I get pretty close. Whereas the lava broodlings and the stone jaws will chase me down from ridiculous distances. Let's drop down here and collect this fiber. And maybe that fiber too. So what we're looking for now is a little bit of stone, and a little bit of more fiber, and we'll be able to make an axe and try to get a campfire going for get a campfire going so that we can make some charcoal for water filtration. And so far, so good. I like the landing spot, and I haven't been murdered by any megafauna yet. I'm like looking around like a crackhead, but like honestly, you kind of need to. Paranoia saves lives. Okay, there is a drac over there. I can take down a drac once I have a bow, but I cannot take a drac down with my axe and pick right now. So let's stay off of its radar. Dracs are basically like mutant wolves, I suppose you can think of them that way. Alright, talents. Chase them down. Tech tree, knife, bow, arrow, fire, or campfire. And let's get the knife, bow, and as many arrows as I can manage made. So I have 3 arrows because I don't have more sticks for more, but there's a there's some fibrous plants over here that I can get more from. Because killing animals is one of the best ways to level up in Icarus. So I want to take every fight that I can possibly take that I can win without, like, casualties. And I want to avoid every fight that I can't win. Ideally. Where'd that Drac go? Well, if he's not grabbing this fiber over here, I think that's him? Yeah, that's him. We'll go for him in a minute. Alright, so we have our campfire. So, you can burn fiber and sticks in a campfire, but, fiber doesn't produce charcoal, which is primarily what we want for water filtration. And then sticks are just very poor at producing charcoal. So, even though wood is a massively finite resource here, there's really no way around it when trying to produce clean water. Okay, Storm. It is ash and smog. We have buffalo up ahead. Now, buffalo and redback... Oh, two buffalo. Buffalo and redbacks cannot be skinned with stone knives or even bone knives. You need metal ones. So there's no point in me fighting them. It would just be a resource sink. Ooh, one shot, the ugly nasty. Alta Buffalo, speaking of which, thank you for the resub. Alright, the corpses here, the carcasses, obviously attract predators, so you gotta be really careful about, like, leaving them unharvested. And at this point, I would say we need oxygen from the gas bags. And I still want to work my way over to the lake to the east. One of the reasons to work my way to the lake to the east is if we take simple missions will generate tasks around your area that you're in. And if I live at the edge of the volcano zone, like if I live, let's say here, it might generate it in the grasslands, and I don't want to have to go over to the grasslands. So living in the middle of the volcano zone increases my chances that the missions that I'm offered aren't like in other biomes where I have to go through long cave systems to get to, which is annoying. So if you're trying this for yourself, consider that as a factor when choosing where to live, because it can be really annoying to have missions in other biomes beyond like an impassable wall. Alright, so we got some trees down here. I don't see any predators, not that I would actually be able to see anything. And then it might be worth me opening up this cave so that I can dip for the shelter. I don't want to live in this cave because it's not close enough to a source of water, but like it's better than being storm exposed. I'm just worried that something's gonna roll up behind me and maul my body. Come on. I don't even have a torch. Well, actually, you know what? I have a torch. Tech tree. Rag torch. Forget trying to mine into the black. There we go. Screw you. Okay. I don't have firewood yet. So let's quickly poke our heads out, grab a little wood, and then cook some first meals. And cooking the Drac prime meat will be really, really, really nice. Because that Drac Prime meat will give us huge bonuses. And then I'll spend the rest of my talent points and solo points. Or point. Does anyone know if it's possible to mark things down like resources or caves? There are online tools for that, yeah. So it is possible. So the only worry I have with this fire is it's producing heat, and I don't want to be too close to it. So other tech tree stuff. I want to get the basic water purifier, because without that, I'm dead. And then maybe want to go for bone armor. I'm going to do that. So for the water purifier, all I need is the 10 charcoal. All right, talent points. Stam, and solo point, move speed. Okay, and my health just jumped up massively. Which is great. Trying to ditch my storm exposure. This storm is almost over. And then I'll work my way east-northeast to the cave. You know what? Might not be a bad idea for me to fight more cave worms, because they're, like, relatively, in the scheme of things, tame enemies that are easy to kill for experience. In this cave, we have deep mining of coal, and that is it. Okay, I'm going to mark that down on my online tool. So I'm using IcarusIntel.com for this, and I'm going to mark down that this cave has coal. Now, what I really want to find is oxite. Deep deposit of oxite, because oxite is so rare in the volcano that if I can deep mine oxite, that's going to make my life a lot easier, because oxite becomes a bottleneck for a lot of tech later on, like making electronics, because you need oxite in order to make organic resin, which makes electronics. So without oxite, we're going to be, you know, have a horrible progression for going forward. All right, I think what I'm going to do is let the fire cook one more, make one more charcoal, and cook the other meat too, so I can have two different types of meat in my stomach for the added HP bonus. And I'm trying not to stand too close to the fire because it's hot as hell. I mean, it's 50 Celsius in this cave. I want to get out of here as soon as possible. But here's the water purifier that we're going to make. And then I want a little bit of charcoal left over to actually filter the water. And this is almost ready. There's the charcoal. Deactivate and pull it up. Now that the storm outside is passing, let's go ahead and eat this meat. I could have done the soybeans as well. I just didn't, because meat has more healing properties than veggies. We'll head over to the lake while trying to avoid as many of the predators as possible, because I have the means to produce clean water now. I have the charcoal and the water purifier. And I just need to stay off the radar of anything big enough to smush me. While we do that, I'm going to queue up 3 of the bone armor pieces, because it has heat insulation properties. And then the reason I went for the bone armor is the full set gives you a huge melee resistance bonus and melee damage bonus, which is going to be really helpful when it comes to fighting things. Speaking of fighting things, there's a Drac at my 12. Oh, I'm out of arrows, aren't I? That's okay. A little reminder that I'm very mortal. So I got an open bleed. I'm gonna need to use some fiber to bandage that, but not a big deal. I'm becoming water low, but again, not a big deal because I'm next to the lake. So let's unlock basic bandages and craft one up. And then get some clean water. Okay, I don't see anything dangerous around the water of that lake, meaning that there's like no predators waiting for me. I don't really have the luxury of time to go around the lake. Oh no, there's a spider there. Shoot. The spider and the redback will fight if I stay stealthed and off its radar. In fact, why are you even going into the sulfuric water? That's like, dumb? And I'm hypothermic as well. Come on. Okay. I hydrated. Good. Actually, the water's really hot, but being wet could be a benefit to get rid of my hypothermia, or hyperthermia, sorry. So I just dipped my feet in the water just to cool off a little bit. And now I have filled my water bar. I am no longer hyperthermic and dying. Okay, next task is to get better oxygen, which means I need leather. So let's update the goals here. Make better O2. Because water has been, at least for now, solved. And I'm out of arrows. Sorry, rabbit, but I need leather. Alright, my hypothermia, as long as I don't overheat, will go away in 3 minutes. And I need 13 more leather for the oxidizer. So there's a chala right at my 12 that I'm going to aim for with arrows. I am currently producing. I'm going to make 15 arrows. I don't want to use up all the arrows. Or all the sticks, rather. Because sticks are still kind of a hard resource to come by. And my death shouldn't be at -1. That smells of cheating. Alright, over here we have a platinum deep mine zone. I'm going to mark that down to my, my little intel tracker. I'm also going to eat another prime meat to heal a little bit, and then dip my toe in the water to cool off. And then take another sip of water. Basically, I'm trying to fight all of the heat stroke symptoms so that I can... Oh, really? My hypothermia climbed back up because I was in the water a second too long. Well, fine. Worst case scenario, I could cook a bunch of the meat I have on me and heal that way. Although I'd prefer not to do it that way. Alright, that will work. Boar. Any leather will work. Can you deep mine oxide? Hypothetically, if it exists in the expansion fields. Certainly there's no guarantee that it does. But if it does, that'd be great. Is that a drac? I think so. So I need chest and legs for the bone armor set. What's moving over there? Nothing bad, I hope. Ooh, more prime meat. Alright, so I've got the oxidizer. Let's do the chest. And then I need just a little bit more leather and bone for the legs. And I think I'm going to need to cook up that meat for healing. Because I'm still hyperthermic. And the penalties for being hyperthermic will go away in 2 minutes. But I don't think I have 2 minutes of HP left on the bar. So I'm just eating the prime meat as a means to survive. So let's redeploy deploying the oxidizer. Which I don't have fuel for at the moment. And then putting the campfire down. I hope this is sheltered. And we'll start cooking up some food. And of course, that did heat me up. I'm hyperthermic again as a result, but like I don't know if there was a way around that. Now another thing I could do is the tech tree for the cooling bandage. That would use up a lot of my oxide though. But like that would be another solution, is to treat it. So I'll absolutely consider that. And then for talent points, I'm not really sure what I want to go for right now, so I'm not going to make that decision at the moment. So if I wanted to do the heat bandage for healing, I'm going to need some more oxide. So we'll get oxide off of these drifters. What's sleeping over there? Redback. Okay, that's fine. And then once I have the full bone armor set, I'm going to be a lot more heat resistant. So the hyperthermia will not be a factor I'm going to have to account for over and over and over. In fact, I probably only got it as a result of being hit by a storm and exposure. Now, the oxygen I have might need to go to... So I'm only getting 2 stacks. Might need to go to the oxidizer instead. Let's get 2 in the oxidizer and then 4 to the heat bandage. And I'm eating the cooked meat for healing. Okay, crafting. Cooling bandage. Done. Sketchy. And close, but done. Oh, you know what? I didn't have heat stroke. I just had hyperthermia. So that didn't even help me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cook food soon enough. Going out of my way to do that. You know what? Can I... It's a weird way to get health. Consume the bacon. I just need the stupid hyperthermia to go away. But I also need food for healing, so it's like, pick my poison? Oh boy. Sometime it'll be like that. Other talent points to consider, a bedroll. And getting a bedroll would be really nice for like proper respawns, and I need more fur for that. Oh, God. I don't know if... It's one of these, like... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get hyperthermic to death. Yeah, this is crazy. And this wasn't even bad luck. It was just, like... the situation I was put in. Of getting stormed in and being next to a fire. I did it to myself, in other words. You know, it's self-inflicted for sure. There it is. Alright, I'm gonna stick this one... Well, I'll poll, but I'm inclined to stick this one out. But yeah, I can ultimately leave it up to you. So close! It's so frustrating to me because in my playtesting, I didn't have hyperthermia issues, like, full stop at all. Because I wasn't... In playtesting, I did not have situations where I was caught in a storm at the start of the game. You know, where I was, like, in a heat storm. Because there's other storms, of course, but a storm that drives up the heat... I mean, ultimately it was my fault because I put a campfire next to myself, but, you know, it is what it is, right? Alright, so I'm going to work my way back. Oh, are you kidding me? So this is what happens when you get driftered? Where is even the drifter? I don't even see a drifter. But you get concussed. So the drifters themselves don't really hurt you. But, if they hit you with their concussive gas, you basically can't move for 25 seconds. And somehow or another I got hit by drifter concussive gas, even though there wasn't even a drifter in the sky. It was a screw you in particular moment. Which is fun. And yes, I do feel singled out by that. Alright, heading back to the corpse. Alright, we're gonna say no. Got it. So, I would say, like, a post-mortem analysis would be, during that exposure storm, it probably would have been best for me not to have lit up the campfire, because I think the campfire is what moved the needle from just being standard hot into hyperthermia territory. And what I should have done is just, like, waited out the storm in the dark, and then cooked afterwards. And that would have been, a better method to avoid hyperthermia. Because generally, you can either go bone armor or cloth armor early on, and you're going to need some sort of armor to protect you from the elements. And bone armor is way better when you're getting, like, mauled to death, but cloth armor is going to be pretty handy for movement speed and also for the temperature. I don't think I made an error with the bone armor. I think I cooked at the wrong time. And then it was one of those situations where it's like, do I try to out-consume meat to treat the injuries that I have from hypothermia? Because basically I lost all my health to hyperthermia. I lost all my health to heat stroke. Or do I stay away from the fire? And I think I then again picked wrong, where I should have just been like, okay, I'll take the hyperthermia and just like wait it out. And instead I tried to out-eat it, which I think was the wrong call. It's just one of those split-second decisions where it's like, you know, do I heal myself with the meat, or do I stay away from the fire? And I should have just stayed away from the fire. But this would be like the pretty typical run if you can stay off the radar of predators. It's gonna be like this. But it gets a lot easier once you've oh god, don't sprain. Once you've mastered some of the initial tech, so that food and water is not so ridiculously difficult to come by. And oxygen, for that matter. I have a little ankle sprain, but not a big deal. Okay, now I am missing just the bone legs, and that's going to be the next priority. So craft bone, armor, legs, and get more oxide. That would be the big ones. I'm also going to switch the fuel source from wood to coal, because I want the wood to do other things with, and I don't want to necessarily waste it on making charcoal that I don't necessarily need to make. I would love to, you know what, let's... Oh, this has already lost all its fuel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink all the water out of this purifier, and then move the purifier closer to the cave entryway, once the purifier is emptied. Because if I moved it now, I would lose a liter and a half of water for no good reason. Okay, there's a spider over that way. Got it. Let's repair my weapons and tools. And then there's a drac over there, and I'll go for the drac. The drac's going to be the easier kill. And actually give me, like, bone and leather. Whereas the spiders don't give leather, I don't think. At level 5, we'll get, bone arrows, which is going to be, really helpful. I probably shouldn't have picked a fight with... Oh, another storm. I should probably not have picked a fight with the drac while ankle sprained, but whatever. Okay, that was enough for the bone leg armor. Perfect. And now I have the full set bonus, which gives me a flat melee resistance and also melee damage. And my heat resistance has gone up as well. So the big thing I need right now is oxygen. And my worry is with the storm rolling in, I'm not really sure I'm going to have the freedom to go get said oxygen. And let's just keep cooking the meat. Prime meat first. So we got 0 oxide in there. What's aggroing me? Something up the hill. And there's another drac. I think something up the hill is aggroed on me too, and they're like running down the hill for me at the moment. I think. Oh, another drac. Another open wound. Lovely. But I did level up, so, you know. Take it in stride. Getting a bone scythe to compensate for the... Oh, there's a bone spider? Shoot. Alright. Heal, quick. Repair. Knife. Oh, crap. It set me on fire. There goes all my meat. So this is what happens when you get set on fire. It absolutely rampages your HP. So I had to eat all of my meat that I had built up to outpace the instant death of the fire. But, you know, whatever. And I'm no closer to being able to source some oxygen for me. The worst of the Ember Sparkles is about to happen, so let me dip into the cave to avoid the heat shock of that. Turn this off so it's cooler. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it broke. Fine, I'll use my pick. Well, good news, I do have a bedroll. Setting a spawn point. And now the push will be for me to get more oxygen. So, telepoints. I only put the robust... I mean, I don't regret that point, but I'm going to start working on spear stuff. And let's... Because of the amount of combat I've been having to do, I'm going to get a bone spear and a bone arrows. A bone knife and a bone sickle. And let's get the spear first. That way my melee weapons don't regularly break. Is something hunting me? I don't know what is out there. Please don't notice me. Oh, it's a Chala. That's fine. It's a Chala and a rabbit. Okay, nothing to fear. There's the bone knife. And the bone sickle. Leave that on my 6th slot. Now, even next to this fire, I'm not overheating. So it's 54 Celsius and I'm like, I can stand this, which is good. And what I was planning on doing is eating the regular meat for healing, so I'm not close to death anymore. Let's eat one of everything. Just re-up my timers. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus Volcanic Prometheus, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow prospectors.